Hey there, it's Layla coming to you from my Music Row office. Today I want to talk about relationship patterns, at least the common ones. And there are quite a few, but I think just having a name for it or an awareness to be able to kind of check in and see, like next time you're in tension or crisis in your relationships, to kind of look at it and go, that sounds a lot like that. So here's a couple of them. Another one is avoiding intimacy. I don't mean sex. I mean avoiding deep conversations about feelings that hurt or feelings that scare you or vulnerabilities. Asking for what you need in a vulnerable way. Showing, for men it comes up sometimes, in showing what you're really scared of or what almost feels paralyzing. And to avoid that would be to keep things surface level or to laugh at everything, minimize and joke. And at the end of the day, those might get you through that moment, but it just builds a wall in your relationship. Other ones, chasing unavailable and unsafe love. Obviously not, well, some people do it in a relationship, but doing that is a pattern to look out for. Unavailable love means they're married or they're traveling all the time. And there's a safety to hide there because you can't really have big expectations, but it isn't sustainable in most cases unless talked about openly and a framework is built around, like, how are we going to do this so that your needs and my needs are met? Withholding the truth. That is different than outright lying, somewhat. They fall under the same umbrella. Withholding the truth is just a protective measure, and it actually doesn't protect anything. It builds disconnection. It creates walls, and it really severely harms trust. And that is a foundational element of any relationship. Shape-shifting to who somebody wants us to be. Exhausting. I don't really need to explain that one. We all have done it. Some of us still do it. No bueno. It doesn't work, isn't sustainable, and at the end of the day, it is a lack of belonging and connection, and it is performative. And that is just, who's got time for that anymore? Self-abandoning. What does it look like? It looks like when you're not getting what you need, or you feel like you can't communicate, or it doesn't feel safe to voice a concern, we start to self-abandon. Or if when we do that, it's met with just defenses and anger, we'll kind of retreat. And then eventually over time, we stop even trying. That's self-abandonment. Or to constantly be like, oh, that sounds great. Yeah, let's do what you want. I don't care. Anything works. Self-abandonment. So it's important to notice that, because over time, that's a big signal for a lot of work that is worth doing for that person who's self-abandoning, but it also turns into resentment. And it lays this foundation of a lacking self-honesty. And then your partner actually might say, like, you're not being honest with me because you weren't. And it's a hard one, but it's important to notice when we're doing it to stop. Man, staying in a relationship longer than you need to, these concepts of thinking it'll get better when it doesn't is another form of self-betrayal and self-abandonment. Or staying because you hope they change, staying because it just feels better. It doesn't. Temporarily, maybe there's a safety somewhere in there, but that safety is pointing to something you need to do within yourself. Volatile fighting and conflicts. Look, everybody fights. If you don't fight, it's a concern. It means you don't have skin in the game or you don't care enough. So fighting is healthy. Violence with words or violence in action or really harmful words is a sign that two or one of those people are not able to emotionally regulate or pause or actually hear when they need a break or to step back or to calm themselves. And under-functioning in a relationship. like, you know, that I hate overusing the word victim, but it is kind of going into that dependent role. Like, well, I can't do it. Or she's the one that always does that. I don't know how to set up the bills to be paid. I don't know how to do the kids' scheduling. And roles get set that way, and man, do they come back and explode and implode in a relationship. So those are just a few of relationship patterns that it's really helpful to be aware of. And yeah, stay tuned for more. Just kind of throwing shit at you. Bye.